This is a brief review of the use of commas. I attempted to find something more entertaining on Grammar Girl, but it all got very, very complicated. So what I've done is I have taken this list of comma rules from the Purdue OWL, and I've reduced it really to 4 that I want you to pay attention to for the Standard of Learning test on Thursday. And I think that if you pay attention to those 4 rules, you'll be pretty well off. So let's get started. As we scroll down, there are a whole bunch of rules here, but I want us to look at, first of all, rule number 1, which is to use commas to separate independent clauses when they're joined by any of these 7 coordinating conjunctions. Frankly, we're just talking about compound sentences here. So here is an example separating complete thoughts or sentences. Ron ran home and he opened the door. And notice that we have the conjunction there. Now going back a little bit to semicolons, so I'm kind of diverging here. If we were to drop the and, we would then use a semicolon. Ron ran home, semicolon, he opened the door. And this is something that you might see on your test. But notice that Ron ran home is a complete sentence, and he opened the door is a complete sentence. They're complete thoughts. So if we're going to put in a conjunction like and or but, we then will put a comma before that. If we decide to leave out the conjunction, we'll put in a semicolon. Okay, so let's now go back to the rules. The next one is use commas after introductory clauses, phrases, words that come before the main clause. I like to refer to that as conditional phrases, conditional clauses, and if we go back to our document here, introductory or conditional clauses. And here are some examples. Being tall, John had to stoop to enter the room. Notice that the sentence, John had to stoop to enter the room, will stand by itself, but being tall will not. So we're going to put a comma after being tall. Here's another one. Although the truck was full, John unloaded it quickly. Notice that although the truck was full does not stand alone as a sentence. Even though there is a subject and a verb in there, there is this word although that sort of puts a condition on that phrase and will not allow us to complete the thought until we have added something to it. So if you have a phrase like this at the beginning, you want to put a comma after that. And here's another example. Furthermore, comma, Sally was bored. So these things that kind of set off sentences at the beginning, you want to use a comma there, and you're likely to see these on the SOL as well. So going back to the Purdue list, we're going to go to use commas to separate 3 or more words, phrases, or clauses written in a series, and we run into this quite often. So we'll go back to our list here and separate 3 or more words or phrases in a series. Jose ate apples, oranges, and grapes. So that's words in a series. Frankie ran over the bridge, in front of the truck, past the store, and into his house. So these are phrases that we have commas after to separate there. And that is another thing that you may find on your test. Now, going back to our rules, well, actually, I don't see a clear rule for this one, but this is one that I am pretty sure you will see on the test, and this is when something is renamed, when you rename something or someone. So for example, Boris the butcher is very large. So Boris, he is a butcher, we're renaming him there, is very large. Or mountains, a great source of beauty, can pose danger. So anytime you're seeing something renaming something, you're going to want to use commas there. And I think that if you keep these 4 items in mind for the test, you'll be in pretty good shape as far as the comma goes.